There are currently 16 town halls in Clash of Clans, and while most of them were really memorable and fun, there are some that just aren't that exciting. Today, I wanted to talk about the least enjoyable town halls in Clash of Clans, the exact opposite of a recent video that I made. Together with my 11 years of Clash, Reddit posts, and comments from you guys, I think I gathered a pretty decent list. But of course, I'll be more than happy to hear different opinions in the comments. With that being said, let's get right into it.
Let's do this.
I feel like there's no better place to start than Town Hall 6. Anything below that is pretty insignificant. You can max it in like 5 days. But Town Hall 6 feels like the first real drag. Every time I think of my Town Hall 6 days, it's like, was that the one you unlocked the Wizard Tower? Was it the air defense? Tesla? No, it's gotta be the dragon. Well, actually, it's neither of those. It's the air sweeper. That has been one of the main issues with Town Hall 6 for years. It feels like you unlock nothing substantial. The healer and healing spell are great unlocks, but they don't really feel all that game changing at that Town Hall yet. And the giant bomb, you get like one of them. It feels like all of this could have easily been dispersed between Town Hall 5 and 7. In fact, this feeling of insignificance is so prevalent that over the years they've tried to improve Town Hall 6 with other unlocks, such as the Clan Capital, Trader, Clan Games, but realistically, none of this makes Town Hall 6 feel memorable. All of those have nothing to do with the Town Hall itself. In fact, once upon a time, the air sweeper and all of those features didn't exist, making Town Hall 6 in the old days extremely underwhelming. Luckily, it's not the old days, and even better, you can max it in just a few days, so you shouldn't worry about it too much. But those few days alone will probably be enough to make you want to rush, as troops at Town Hall 6 feel very weak compared to how strong the defenses hit. This is one of the main reasons players rush to Town Hall 7, because at least there your offense can shred bases with ease. And, you know, you unlock your first hero, so why not? It hurts me a bit to include this next one on this list because I'm sure, like many of you, I have very fond memories of my Town Hall 8 days. And also, those walls are sick, man. But other than nostalgia and good-looking walls, Town Hall 8 lacks in a lot of areas. One of the main arguments is that Town Hall 8 just feels like Town Hall 7 DLC. A lot of the excitement in a new Town Hall comes from what new defenses you unlock. And for Town Hall 8, this is simply the bomb tower, which isn't the most exciting thing ever. Now, in defense of Town Hall 8, it isn't all that bad. Finally unlocking Dark Elixir spells is exciting. The troops you unlock are fun, in my opinion, and I think Supercell made a great choice by putting the blacksmith here. However, the main issue with Town Hall 8 seems to be not enough unique experiences, or maybe not enough unique experiences that people care about. Or, let me put it another way as well, not enough reasons not to rush and go get that queen. Town Hall 9 is such a big jump in terms of gameplay and defenses that it just makes Town Hall 8 feel like something that's in the way. People also hate another common problem, which is having too many gold upgrades and having nothing to do with your elixirs at a certain point. It adds to the frustrations and makes the grind less fun. A lot of players simply rush so that they're not wasting all of those resources. I could be spending it if I just upgrade to Town Hall 9. And finally, this one is very subjective, but the color choices at Town Hall 8 are interesting. Now, I personally don't mind the looks of Town Hall 8. I'm not mentioning this because I think it looks ugly, but a common complaint about Town Hall 8 is that the colors are all over the place, and most buildings are just doing their own thing. Like I mentioned in my most enjoyable Town Halls video, a lot of people can agree that aesthetics is important, seeing it all come together, it's satisfying. But Town Hall 8 lacks in that department, and this may add to the reason some find the journey to max boring and forgettable. When researching for this video, I kept seeing one Town Hall mentioned over and over as the worst and most boring, Town Hall 12. Okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna say that I absolutely love the looks of Town Hall 12. Not so much the walls, but the buildings and the theme they follow is one of my favorites. I'm only mentioning this because throughout the video, themes are a factor, but for a lot of people, the theme here is not the problem, and I just wanted to get that out of the way. The main issue with Town Hall 12 is similar to what you've seen with some of the previous ones, and it's the lack of significant unlocks. The workshop is one thing you get, and while training your own siege machines is cool, it's very likely that you've been messing around with them since Town Hall 10, and if you're in a clan, it's not very hard to get one. So it's no surprise that when most people get to Town Hall 12, they're not as excited about one of its main features. By that point in the game, you've already used the ones you can train. In fact, you'll most likely still end up requesting them depending on what you want to use for your army. The other unlock is the Giga Tesla on the Town Hall. The Giga Tesla is a nice change of pace, and I found it to be pretty exciting. However, it just doesn't carry the whole Town Hall experience through your journey to max. You also get some cool troops, and I'm a huge fan of the Yeti, so that's gotta be one of the best things. At least nowadays. I remember one time saying that I didn't care about them. As for the troops, I personally don't use the Yeti or the Headhunter, and also some more super troops, which is always cool to play around with. But a common thing that I saw about these new super troops is that a lot of people just don't care about them unless they're competitive. It seems that after the Sneaky Goblins, which are unlocked at Town Hall 11 by the way, a lot of players can't be bothered about the rest of them. And personally, I feel the same way. Every time I unlock a new one, I use it once and then never again. So despite the fact that you unlock some cool stuff at Town Hall 12, the general consensus is that most of it is simply not as exciting or doesn't change much of anything. But there's one last thing that many dislike about Town Hall 12. It has the second highest amount of hero upgrades with a total of 50 levels. Now, although Town Hall 13 has 5 more than this, it doesn't help that Town Hall 13 is considered one of the best experiences, while Town Hall 12 is considered one of the most boring. And needing to upgrade your heroes 50 times definitely makes it worse, especially how around Town Hall 12 is when heroes become a major part of your attacks, but unfortunately they'll be upgrading for a large portion of those attacks. So to wrap it up, many agree that Town Hall 12 leaves a lot to be desired, with the unlocks being boring, not enough to carry you through the journey, and the experience is simply slow and stagnant. It's unfortunate because, like I said, I really like that theme. Town Hall 14 is an interesting case. I personally didn't mind it all that much, and I don't think it's as bad as some people say. But this video wouldn't be that interesting if it was just my opinion, trust me. And plus, you'll get a whole lot of that in the next Town Hall. So Town Hall 14 doesn't seem to be many people's favorite, but when compared against all of the others in this video, it's arguably the best. So it's not that bad. There are a couple of reasons why people dislike it, starting with the pets. So when Town Hall 14 first came out, these pets were the only pets, so they weren't an issue back then. Not like you had a choice anyway, right? But as more pets were introduced in Town Hall 15 and 16, people started to feel as though the ones you unlock at Town Hall 14 are practically useless besides the unicorn. Now, I understand that this is very subjective. I personally didn't feel this way, I still maxed all of mine, but it is true that these pets don't feel as useful in the upper town halls, which can make some people feel that they're a waste of time. Then there's the other main feature of Town Hall 14, the battle builders, and while they're cool and useful, they can sometimes feel forgettable and it's not as exciting as unlocking new buildings. There are some pretty cool troops and a flame flinger, but overall the lack of interesting content at Town Hall 14 is so apparent that it's basically become a meme that the first thing you should do when reaching Town Hall 14 is go to Town Hall 15. Personally, I like to max my town halls no matter what, and this was no different with Town Hall 14, but I've never felt more compelled to rush just a little bit because of how boring this town hall got toward the end. The grind, it was exhausting and not rewarding. And it seems I'm not the only one who thinks this. It doesn't help that the theme of Town Hall 14 is interesting, to say the least. It seems to be a love or hate situation. Many people love it. Personally, it grew on me. But many people also hate it, which can decrease the overall enjoyment depending on which side you're on. And finally, the last one is Town Hall 16, which is my current Town Hall. This is my base. I just got here not too long ago, and fair warning, this entry in the video contains much more of my opinion. But when researching for this video, I wasn't the only one with such opinions. So right off the bat, Town Hall 16 has the least amount of content in the entire game. And this isn't necessarily an issue, quality over quantity and all that. But I just don't feel that the unlocks are all that interesting either. They just feel like a different kind of Archer Tower and Cannon upgrade that they had to do because there's no space in the village. I am excited to use the new pets. The Angry Jelly is interesting, and I can't wait to find out what the fox says. But other than that, Town Hall 16 is boring, or at least in my opinion. Merged defenses and 2 pets just isn't doing it for me, and it kind of reminds me of the same flaws that Town Hall 12, 8, and 6 had. They say after every good Town Hall comes a bad one, and while I don't feel that that's always true, it certainly feels like it in this case, and I hope that Town Hall 17 offers something better. I'm not sure if I'm being too harsh here, but Town Hall 16 just feels like a pointless launch of another Town Hall. The theme isn't even complete. There are still Town Hall 15 spell towers, archer towers, and cannons that look way out of place when you're maxed. And there are no plans to change that. It sucks. Now, I already didn't like the theme of Town Hall 16, but this makes me dislike it even more. But perhaps I'm being too critical of Town Hall 16. Most players don't even seem to have a problem with Town Hall 16, so maybe I'm a minority here. But I would love to hear your opinions down below. What do you guys think of Town Hall 16? Do you think you'll enjoy it, or are you even looking forward to it at all? Let me know down below. But yeah, that is my list of the most boring or everyone's least favorite Town Halls. Obviously, some of you may like some of these. I personally didn't mind Town Hall 8 and 14, but this list takes a lot of different opinions into account, and these Town Halls are generally the ones that have the most complaints. So that's pretty much all I have for you today, but hey, YouTube thinks you'll like this next video on the screen, so why don't you check it out? As always, have a gaming outs. Peace!